If you're over 60 and your erections have gone soft, your energy is fading and you no longer feel like the man you used to be, listen carefully. Because what I'm about to say may shock you. It's not aging, it's not low testosterone, it's not just stress. In many cases, the real reason older men lose their edge is something no one talks about: a silent deficiency in just 3 essential vitamins. And this deficiency is robbing you of your circulation, your drive, and the spark that made you feel alive. I'm Dr. James, a board-certified urologist and penile surgeon. For over 30 years, I've helped men across the country reclaim their strength, restore their intimacy, and feel like themselves again, without relying on pills or gimmicks. I've seen firsthand how lives change when the body finally gets what it's been quietly asking for. Now, here's the part no one tells you. Most men still feel desire, but their bodies no longer respond. That's not a lack of masculinity. That's a lack of nutrients. And the truth is, these 3 vitamins can make the difference between frustration and fulfillment, between feeling weak and standing tall with confidence. In this video, I'm going to reveal exactly which 3 vitamins every man over 60 should be taking and how they work together to bring back your blood flow, energy, and performance. Stay with me because in just a moment I'll also expose the biggest mistake most men make when using these vitamins and how to fix it starting tonight. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another vital health message designed specifically for men over 60. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments to let me know. If it doesn't, type 0 and tell me what you'd like to see done differently, because your voice helps shape what comes next. All right, let's get straight into it, starting with the first and most critical vitamin every man over 60 needs to restore blood flow and reignite performance. This isn't some trendy supplement or marketing hype. This is a foundational nutrient your body once produced easily. But now, without it, your circulation slows, your energy fades, and your confidence takes the hit. I'm talking about vitamin D, the circulation spark plug. Let me explain why this simple vitamin could be the key to bringing your strength back. 1. Vitamin D, the circulation spark plug. I'll never forget the look in Paul's eyes. He was 67, a retired teacher, and he came into my office with a quiet frustration I've seen far too often. "Doc," he said, "I still love my wife. I still want to be with her, but my body won't cooperate." That kind of confession doesn't come from weakness. It comes from a man who still wants to live fully, but doesn't understand why his body is no longer responding. When I reviewed Paul's blood work, everything looked fairly normal until I got to his vitamin D levels. They were shockingly low, and suddenly it all made sense. You see, vitamin D isn't just about bones or getting a little sun. For men over 60, it's the very switch that helps your blood vessels relax and open up. Without enough vitamin D, your body struggles to produce nitric oxide, the key molecule that triggers healthy blood flow, especially to the areas that matter most when it comes to intimacy and performance. And as we age, our skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight drops dramatically, which is why so many older men are unknowingly running on empty. When Paul began supplementing with a high-quality vitamin D3, combining it with short walks in the morning sun and foods like salmon and fortified dairy, things started to change. He came back a month later, a different man. "I don't feel like I'm fighting my own body anymore," he told me. His energy was returning, his relationship was warmer, and most importantly, he felt like himself again. But here's the thing. Even when blood is flowing well, energy is still required to move it, sustain it, and turn it into action. And if you've ever found yourself dragging through the day, no matter how much you sleep or eat, then the next vitamin might be the missing piece your body's been begging for. Let's talk about that next. 2. Vitamin B12, the energy generator. A few years back, I sat across from a man named Robert. He was 72, a retired firefighter with a strong handshake and a tired face. He looked like someone who'd lived a full life, raised kids, built a home, faced danger with courage. But that day his voice was low, almost defeated. "Doc," he said, "I sleep 8 hours a night, I eat right, but I still feel like I'm running on fumes. I've got no spark left." I hear this all the time from men his age. They assume it's just part of getting older, but more often than not, what they're really facing is something much simpler and much more fixable. In Robert's case, the issue was a severe vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 plays a critical role in how your body turns food into energy. Without it, everything slows down. Your muscles don't get the oxygen they need, your brain gets foggy, your stamina disappears, and worst of all, you stop feeling like yourself. After 60, the body's ability to absorb B12 from food, especially meat, eggs, and dairy, starts to drop. Even if you're eating all the right things, your gut just isn't absorbing enough. When we started Robert on a daily dose of methylcobalamin, the active form of B12, his transformation was almost immediate. Within a couple of weeks, he was more alert, less fatigued, and more present with his wife and grandchildren. The sparkle in his eye came back, and I could tell he wasn't just functioning better, he was enjoying life again. That's what B12 can do. It doesn't just wake up your body, it reignites your enthusiasm, your energy, your drive to engage with the people and passions you care about. But even with energy and blood flow restored, there's still one critical piece missing, something that protects your hormones, keeps your blood vessels young, and helps you hold on to the strength that defines who you are. And without it, everything you've built so far can slowly start slipping away. Let's take a closer look. 3. Vitamin E, the fertility defender. One of the stories that stayed with me the longest is from a man named James. He was 70, a retired pilot who had flown all over the world, full of discipline and precision. But when he walked into my office, he looked unsettled. "Doc," he said, "I'm doing everything right. I eat clean, I stay active, but something feels off. I don't feel like a man anymore." It wasn't his testosterone levels, or at least not directly. It was what was happening beneath the surface. James was dealing with chronic inflammation, the kind that creeps in quietly as we age and starts interfering with everything from blood flow to hormone production. That's when I checked his vitamin E levels, and sure enough, they were low. Vitamin E is one of the most overlooked nutrients when it comes to male health. People often associate it with skin or fertility supplements, but in truth, it's a powerful antioxidant that protects the very systems that define masculinity. It helps keep blood vessels soft and flexible, allowing blood to reach the places that matter most. It also shields testosterone-producing cells from oxidative stress, the kind of internal damage that accelerates aging from the inside out. For James, adding more natural sources of vitamin E, like almonds, sunflower seeds, olive oil, and leafy greens, made a profound difference. We also used a high-quality vitamin E supplement to fill the gaps. Within weeks, he told me he was feeling clearer, calmer, and more in control, not just physically, but emotionally. That sense of dullness he described, it was gone. What struck me most was what he said before leaving. "I don't feel younger. I feel present again." That's the quiet power of vitamin E. It doesn't just protect your body, it helps restore the feeling of being alive in it. Now, you might be wondering what happens when you bring all three of these vitamins together at the right dose, in the right form, taken the right way. What unfolds isn't just recovery, it's transformation. Let me show you. 4. Why these three vitamins work better together. Over the years, I've worked with thousands of men, but there's one case that perfectly captures what happens when the right nutrients come together at the right time. Walter was 68, a retired high school coach, full of grit and heart. He'd been taking vitamin D for a while after his doctor mentioned it, and it helped a little. Later, after feeling constantly tired, he added vitamin B12. That gave him more stamina, more clarity, but something still felt incomplete. That's when he came to see me. We talked about everything, his routine, his energy, his relationship. I asked him a simple question: have you ever considered vitamin E? He hadn't. Once we added it to the mix and adjusted his doses for quality and consistency, something changed. A few weeks later, Walter walked back into my office with a wide grin and said, "Doc, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like I've got a new engine running inside me." That's the beauty of synergy. Each of these vitamins, D, B12, and E, has its own role, but when taken together, they support and enhance each other in powerful ways. Vitamin D opens the blood vessels and gets your circulation flowing. B12 fills your red blood cells with the oxygen your body needs to keep going. And vitamin E protects the entire system while helping your body produce and preserve testosterone. They don't just add up, they multiply. This combination doesn't just help you feel better, it can help you feel whole again, connected, confident, and capable of doing the things you thought were behind you. But before you rush out to the pharmacy, there's one critical thing you need to know. Most men never see these benefits, not because the vitamins don't work, but because they make a simple mistake that cancels out their progress entirely. And chances are you might be making it too. Let me explain. 5. The mistake most men make. I remember the morning Gerald walked into my office holding a plastic grocery bag full of supplements. He was 74, well-read, well-meaning, and clearly trying his best to take control of his health. He laid out the bottles on my desk, looked at me with frustration in his voice, and said, "Doc, I've been taking all of this for months, and I still feel tired. My mind's foggy, and honestly, things down there haven't changed one bit." This wasn't a man who'd given up. This was a man who'd been misled, and I see it more often than I'd like to admit. The truth is, most men over 60 make the same mistake. They believe that just taking vitamins is enough. But it's not that simple. The form, the quality, and the consistency of those vitamins matter more than they realize. Gerald, like many others, had been taking cheap synthetic versions, thinking all vitamins are created equal, but they're not. His B12 was in the form of cyanocobalamin, which is harder for older bodies to absorb. He was taking vitamin D2 instead of the far more effective D3, and his vitamin E, a synthetic version that didn't offer the full spectrum of support his body needed. Worse, he was taking them inconsistently, every few days, whenever he remembered. When we switched him to high-quality bioavailable forms, methylcobalamin for B12, vitamin D3, and a natural form of vitamin E, and he began taking them daily, everything shifted. Within weeks, he told me, "Doc, I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. I feel like I've finally turned a corner." That's the power of doing it right. It's not about trying harder, it's about understanding what your body truly needs and giving it the best version of that support. Now that you know what to avoid and what really works, the next question becomes simple. How do you build these vitamins into your daily routine in a way that's realistic, sustainable, and effective? That's exactly what I'll show you next. 6. Your daily vitality routine. When men sit across from me, they often ask the same question, their voice full of quiet hope. "Doc, just tell me what to do. I don't want anything fancy. I just want something that works." I always respect that because at this stage in life, most men aren't chasing gimmicks. They're looking for something real, something they can rely on. One man who truly brought this to life for me was Frank, a 66-year-old former carpenter. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't unhealthy. He was simply worn down, physically, emotionally, and silently questioning whether this was just how life would feel from now on. Together, we created a simple daily routine. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme, just rhythm, consistency, and intention. Each morning, Frank started with a tall glass of water and a high-quality B12 supplement, methylcobalamin, the form his body could actually absorb. He took it with a breakfast rich in protein, usually eggs or Greek yogurt. Then he went for a short walk in the morning sun, just 15 minutes, to stimulate his body's natural vitamin D production. On cloudy days or during winter, he took a dose of vitamin D3 with his first meal instead. At lunch, he'd sprinkle sunflower seeds or sliced almonds over a salad dressed with olive oil, his daily dose of natural vitamin E. And if he didn't have those on hand, he used a simple, high-quality vitamin E supplement. No overwhelm, no cluttered pill boxes. Just a few key steps, done consistently. After just a few weeks, Frank came back with a different posture. Taller, steadier. I don't feel younger, he told me. I feel stronger, like I've got something solid under me again. That's what this routine is meant to do, not just help you feel better, but help you reclaim a sense of power over your health. But before we wrap up, I want to speak to you directly, not as your doctor, but as a man who's seen what happens when someone finally chooses to take back control. You need to hear this. 7 final words every man over 60 needs to hear. I've spent more than 3 decades sitting across from men who thought they'd lost their edge. Men who'd built families, led careers, faced hardship with strength, and yet quietly wondered, is this it now? There's a moment I see in their eyes that says more than words ever could. It's not weakness, it's not giving up, it's a deep, honest question. Is there still more life in me? Let me tell you what I tell them. Yes, there is more, so much more. I've seen men in their late 60s, 70s, even 80s feel the return of energy, connection, and confidence. I've seen their relationships revive. I've seen their eyes light up with purpose again. Not because of magic or expensive treatments, but because they finally gave their bodies the simple nutrients they'd been missing for far too long. You've learned what vitamin D can do for your blood flow, how B12 can bring your energy roaring back, and how vitamin E protects your testosterone, your heart, your very sense of vitality. These aren't just vitamins, they're signals to your body. They say, wake up, you still have more to give, you still matter. And you do. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this message, it's that you're not finished. You don't have to accept fatigue. You don't have to settle for a quiet decline. You can choose to reclaim your health, your connection, and your power, starting today. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The real transformation happens when you take the next step, and in just a moment I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, simply, practically, and without guesswork. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, this is where it begins. Let's finish strong. 8. Conclusion. It's not too late to reclaim your strength. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, not just for watching or listening, but for caring enough about yourself to stay present. That matters. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the one to say it. You are not too old, too broken, or too far gone. You are still here, and there is still time. We've covered a lot today, but at the heart of it, it all comes down to 3 essential vitamins: vitamin D, vitamin B12, and vitamin E. These aren't trendy supplements. They're foundational building blocks for energy, blood flow, hormone health, and confidence. Vitamin D helps open your blood vessels and restore natural circulation. Vitamin B12 brings life back to your muscles, your brain, and your stamina. And vitamin E acts like a shield, protecting your testosterone, your arteries, and your sense of self. I've seen men just like you, exhausted, frustrated, disconnected, come back to life with nothing more than these 3 nutrients, taken consistently and in the right form. They didn't need a radical lifestyle change. They needed direction. They needed the truth. And maybe most of all, they needed someone to believe they were still worth the effort. That's what I want to leave you with today. You are still worth it. Your health is not behind you. It's in your hands right now. Whether you're looking to reconnect with your partner, feel stronger in your body, or simply wake up without that cloud of fatigue, this is your starting point. You've taken the first step by listening. The next step is simple. Act. Get the right vitamins. Commit to the routine. Believe in what's possible, because the best version of you isn't a memory. He's still in there, waiting to be brought back to life. And when you feel him again, you'll know it was never too late.